Daddy eats lots. Daddy eats lots. Daddy eats lots. Munch, munch, munch.
Hello and welcome to Daddy Eats Last, where we discuss the challenges of being a man in modern society and what the hell that even means. I'm Kane, and with Ryan and Matthew both enjoying their relative freedoms in Scotland and Vegas, respectively, I'm joined by my partner. How are you doing?
Yeah, pretty good.
Really? Are you really doing good?
Oh, the sun was shining today in Melbourne and it's pretty nice, really. Always makes lockdown feel better.
Well, lockdown is the key word because we've been locked down in Melbourne for how long now? It feels probably longer than it is. It's been a month.
I don't know. It's been on, off, extended.
Because we are due to get out in roughly 10 days, which is seeming pretty unrealistic. It's the 2nd of September we're due out.
Yep.
This is lockdown 6.0, so this is the 6th lockdown we're going through at the moment.
Yeah, it's, I don't know, and 5 and 6 particularly have felt like the same lockdown, and even 4 has kind of blended into 5, but I think there was a brief moment of freedom between 4 and 5, and a blink of an eyelid between 5 and 6.
Because between 4 and 5, you and the little fella got to go to Frozen the musical, didn't you? That was between 4 and 5? Because 5 and 6 didn't really exist. We got out of 5. We were celebrating having 0 cases, and then we were back in lockdown.
Oh, yeah, because 4 was the one around your birthday, wasn't it?
I believe so, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, we went to Frozen, which we were absolutely so lucky to go to.
Well, we didn't think you'd be able to go in the first place because of lockdown. Got out just in time that you could.
And then a week later, the whole state was back in lockdown.
It's insane when you think
literally 1 week after we went to Frozen and had lunch in the city and just, I was going to say waltzed around, but...
I waltzed around because I came in with you and I just went and lay in the garden.
It was still, it was obviously masks on in the theatre and, it wasn't all freedom and, everything. But it was still like compared to the situation we're in now, like chalk and cheese because now we're all stuck here.
Yeah. Well, I think the hard bit was the yo-yoing where it's you kind of in and you're out. Like it's like the worst version of the hokey pokey in the world. You got your right foot into lockdown, you got your right foot out, you put your right foot in and you shake it all about. Like, I think that's the worst bit, that you just kind of in and out instead of, if you're just in there, you kind of, I won't say you get used to it, but you kind of get used to it a little bit.
Yeah. I think that's the tiring bit of it, and you kind of make plans, then they all come unstuck. Like, seriously, like there's no way you can plan to go away for a weekend, let alone like, if you book 2 days in advance, you still mightn't even get to go. Like, I've booked...
You had a couple of dinners.
Yeah, I had dinners booked. Like, I'd organised groups of, 5+ people, which, is never an easy feat. And, booking restaurants in COVID times in Melbourne is fun, because just, density limits and booking restrictions on time frames and all the rest of it. And they both got cancelled because we were in lockdown for both. And one of the dinners we were meant to do in lockdown 5.
Yep.
So it got cancelled in lockdown 5, rescheduled, and then we ended up in lockdown 6. So we'll put that in for a pre-Christmas dinner.
Pre-Christmas. You're optimistic about this lockdown, aren't you, pre-Christmas?
Oh, they're saying we're all going to be vaccinated by November, aren't we?
Yeah, well, hopefully. Well, you're too young to be vaccinated by the Atagi recommended vaccine at the moment. You could have got the AZ, but it's not recommended for your age group. So, yeah, you're kind of a bit hamstrung at the moment to some extent.
Yeah, and we were working out this afternoon, and they've now extended the time frame between dose 1 and dose 2 for Pfizer to, is it 6 weeks or something?
I think so.
So which means I won't be fully vaxxed for 3 weeks on top of what I would have been anyway, and like it's all taking forever and ever. And I think we were like, you were fully vaxxed by sort of mid to late June, and I'll be lucky to be fully vaxxed by maybe in October, because they're opening at the end of, because they're opening at the 30th of August. So hopefully I'll get in sometime in September, and then hopefully by the end of October, I'll be fully vaxxed. But that's still 5 months after you were fully vaxxed, and you're only 4.5 years older than me or something. Like, it's just crazy.
Well, the crazy thing was, I was saying yesterday, there's 70,000 vaccination appointments available in Victoria at the moment, and 2/3 of those were for Pfizer. I think it was 2/3 were for Pfizer. So let's say there's the best part of maybe 45,000.
That's for this week.
For this week.
Yeah. I know, it's crazy.
So I don't know why or why they're not bringing that forward. Like, why are they just not opening it up to other people who could use that? Obviously, the over 40s now, you'd have to think at this point, most of the people who are going to be vaccinated or should want to be vaccinated, maybe have been vaccinated if you got 70,000 appointments just kind of laying around.
It's ridiculous. They should just open it up to anyone. I'd be there. If I could book for this week, I would go. Well, you
actually did try to get the Pfizer at a local facility, which is just up the road from us. It didn't take too long, because you'd heard online that at the end of the day there was often a handful of doses around, which they had been giving out, and then they stopped. Yeah,
at our local hospital, which is a vaccination site, whatever you call them. Even my GP had told me, but apparently they do it like at the exhibition building. Can you imagine them just waltzing around the gardens? People are on there 2 hours of exercise. You want to jab with that, like, while you're out?
One more hit of Pfizer for the road, sort of thing. Yeah, it's just a weird situation in Victoria at the moment. I'm saying hopefully we won't get as bad as New South Wales, where things have just got sort of wildly out of control. But it's the cases are growing each day. I don't think we're going to mushroom out like New South Wales, because even today I was reading that New South Wales, until tomorrow, they could be outside without masks on. Then from tomorrow, they can only have masks off when they're exercising. We've been like that for months. So I don't think we'll probably mushroom. Hopefully, we won't mushroom out like New South Wales have. I don't want this to be one of those, this podcast aged well sort of scenarios, and next week we're going, hey, we've got billions of cases.
Fingers crossed.
But sorry, go on.
I was just going to say there is a massively big difference in the feeling, I think, between 60 cases a day and 850. I think the feeling of when we had 750, 720 last August or whatever, it was heavy. It was big.
I remember that day when we cracked the 700s. When I was out in the backyard playing with a little fella, and I was just on watching the phone, because I knew it was going to be a big number, and they were talking it being a big number. But when it was 700, it was just like, whoa. And then you'd walk down the street and you'd give everyone side eye.
People literally, like, you'd be walking down a footpath and people would go to the middle of the road if they were passing you. And I did it, other people did it to me. Like, it was like one person on the footpath. It was scary in a way. Like, you didn't want to go out. We weren't going to the shops. Unless we really, 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 really needed something, we wouldn't go. We did our weekly shop online, and you just made do. Like, it was, yeah.
Yeah. It's really risk mitigation, just mitigating risk, to be honest. Like, it's fairly, where we live compared to some of the suburbs around Melbourne, I say it's fairly low risk. But it's mitigating risk. Well, if you don't need to do something, don't do it. If you don't need to protest for freedom, then don't go and do it. Those sort of things. But they of course, they did announce yesterday, going back to the whole lockdown thing, a few more restrictions in Victoria. The one being that childcare and, by extension, kinders will be closed, which makes a lot of sense given the transmission which has been happening. It does put a lot of pressure back down onto parents, but you became parents because you wanted to raise a kid. Sometimes you just have to suck it up.
Yeah, and you want to protect your children.
Yeah.
There's been so many cases with this Delta strain with little kids, and it was getting a little bit worrying, I guess. Not that it was happening on our side of the city, I guess. But, you know, I guess it could pop up, you know, anywhere, anytime. And, you know, we weren't immune to it just because of what suburb we're in or whatever.
What is in the poo?
It is.
The poo doesn't lie.
No.
Shepparton had been in the poo for a couple of weeks, and then you know, there's an outbreak. The number of cases there, you just don't. The poo never lies.
No. So there is some in our area. They just haven't tested positive yet. They may have tested positive tonight. Who knows? But so as of tomorrow, we found out when we were on our 2 hours of exercise yesterday that kinder's shut. So it'll be the three of us rattling around here for 2 weeks. Won't really be 2 weeks though. I'm sure it'll be a lot longer. For us, it's only 3 weeks till school holidays, and we get 3 weeks of school holidays. So I don't.
It's all the same anyway, though. If you're in lockdown, it's irrelevant, really.
So I know you don't think we're going to be out till probably the beginning of term 4, if we're lucky.
If we're lucky.
Which is, I think they go back on the 5th of October down here or something. So
I think that's ambitious at the moment. I would love to be wrong. I'd love for us to get out in late September or mid-September or sometime in September.
What do you mean get out? Do you mean be able to meet people outside? Do you mean kids back at school, kinder, childcare? Do you mean having 2 people to your house? Do you mean 10 people to your house?
I think having people at your house is unrealistic for quite a while. Be it here, be it in New South Wales.
December?
I think, November, December, when the vaccination numbers get up, to be honest, because you can't really be sure that once you've had as many cases as we've had in Victoria, that you've kind of cleaned them all up, which is what happened last time. We thought we were all celebrating a donut day, you know, 0 cases at 8 a.m. and Brett Sutton, that tweet aged terribly. He had the guy, the Olympics coach doing the Ultimate Warrior thing. He posted that, and then 3 hours later we had a case, and the next day we were back in lockdown. Like it's, you know, I think it's unrealistic to think we're going to be visiting houses, but I think the freedoms of kids going back, being able to meet people outside, being able to travel more than 5 kilometres, I think they're realistic.
Forgot about that one.
Yeah. But, yeah,
and playgrounds are shut. That was they were shut midweek, weren't they?
Yeah.
So that's a bit of a, you know, sad state of affairs.
Yeah. It's just
particularly if it's like that in the school holidays. I think it would have been nice, or it would be nice if by that stage, in 3 or 4 weeks' time, maybe they can reopen the playgrounds and at least we could explore different playgrounds and go.
Just needs to do the right thing for that to happen. I think that's the problem. Is that there's that sort of lockdown fatigue where people just kind of maybe a bit jack of lockdown now, and they're just going, oh, I'll just bend the rules a little bit. It'll be fine. It's just me. No one else can do it, but if I bend it, it's okay. And it's very easy to blame the government or blame other people when, you know, a lot of people kind of taking a few liberties with the rules at the moment. I'm not sure they'd be able to with the kids going to childcare because, you know, permitted worker status stuff. But there's a lot of people who seem to be bending the rules to suit themselves.
Yes, we've probably seen it ourselves. And, you know, and the cocktails while you walk and, you know, mask off, which is now after last weekend's antics in Melbourne, not allowed. Cannot take your mask off to drink alcohol. Like,
in fairness, this lockdown has been pretty good on the story front. Of course, we had like the beer, the pub crawl, the pub crawl where people were walking around and just, you know, getting leathered for a couple of hours, which is against the rules. You had the engagement party with 69 guests with no masks on, and then you had the sex worker thing in St Kilda this week. Where
have they got to the bottom of that yet? They'll never get.
No. We've had this conversation.
No, but there hasn't been any more on it. I haven't heard anything about it.
I put to you, Fiona, if somebody been frequenting a sex worker, do you think they're going to come forward and just go, oh, yeah, I'm the missing link? Do you think anyone? Do you think the sex worker had a QR code on their panties? Like, I don't think anyone's checking in. I think it's probably one area where the QR codes maybe aren't working. Is a notepad with a pen and paper if you're a bit old and you don't know how to QR code in? Like, that might be a hole. It might be a hole in the a glitch in that matrix. There's no real way of tracking those people.
I'd love to see the grid, you know, the family tree thing about how everybody's Now the cases are all linked. That one's just out.
That will be a mystery case forever because no one's owning up to that.
No.
But we're putting together a plan for the next 5 weeks. And, of course, there is a level of sort of complexity thrown in there as well at this stage.
There is. I am having fairly major surgery Tuesday week.
5-week recovery?
6-week recovery. Or I can't drive for 4 weeks. Which I think brings us to like sometime during the last week of the school holidays or something.
Did you say 6 weeks? I penciled in 5.
No, it's 6. I haven't got my checkup until the middle of October.
Oh, man. I thought I was out in 5. This is like another week of lockdown added on for me.
So if they don't cancel elective surgery between now and Tuesday week, so we've got another week to hang out, I will be having surgery on the 31st and in hospital for about the rest of that week, 3 nights or something. And
is there an optional? There's a swinging night there where you might be okay to come home or not come home.
Yeah.
Now, we're in lockdown. The kids home 24 hours a day. Which way do you think you're going to kind of go on the extra night?
I'll probably take the extra night. Although having said that, if it depends how I sleep in hospital. I don't know if it's a bit. There's nothing like your own bed at home,
especially when a little 5-year-old jumps on it.
And I don't imagine a nurse. Well, sorry, I don't imagine that you're going to get to sleep in that late in a hospital. It's like they're probably still going to get be up around 7 or something, just like at home anyway. So it's not like I'm.
There is a 7 on the clock, Daddy.
He said he'll stay in bed tomorrow morning.
Yeah. Believe it when I see it.
So 3 nights in hospital.
So,
you guys will just be fending for yourself here and no kinder. Yeah,
this is your chance to put this on record. What are your worries about me kind of running the show for 6 weeks? What are the worries? You won't have to run it for 6 weeks. I just can't lift stuff and do washing, and I can't drive for 4 weeks. So I can. When I'm running the show for 6 weeks, what are the worries?
No huge worries because it'll be hard to look around the house and think, if only I could do that, or if only I could clean that, or, whatever. It'll be hard to not be able to
do it, or not be able to maybe mention it because everything else is being taken care of.
Yeah.
That's good to know. You're not that worried. This is, with regards to the home stuff, that's reassuring.
It's hard though. Like, I think it'll be hard for me just to be in bed. At first, when I get home, I'll be completely out of it, I think. If it's anything to like last time I had surgery, and that was not nearly as bad as this one. But the painkillers certainly send you to a different planet. And
I might need some.
And I end up sleeping, during the day a bit, and, like you have a painkiller and conks you out after half an hour for a while, and you're really groggy and stuff. And so the first few days, I think I won't have a care in the world what anyone's doing because I'll be just
high as a kite.
Yeah, and I'll just be lucky if I can get up and walk around the house and have a shower in a day, and that'll be my accomplishments for the day. I guess as I get better, I'll probably start to feel I guess bad for you that you're having to do everything in the house and then work as well and look after me. And
could have been worse if you didn't sell the other business. If we didn't sell the business that we had and I've got a secondary business, it would have been much worse this time of year.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. Particularly now we're in lockdown and there's no kinder. I actually don't know. We might have had to cancel my surgery or something because, I don't know, all those things. I'm not sure you would have been able to get through it, in fairness. Like, it's a lot. Or we would have had to get help or something. Like,
yeah. It's a set period as well. It's a set amount of time that this is going to be happening. So you can kind of, it's like preparing for something. It's like preparing for anything. I don't do a lot of preparation or planning, but I know it's coming. So in my mind, I'm going, okay, the next 5 or 6 weeks are going to be pretty hard, but, you know, it's only 5 or 6 weeks. If it was 5 or 6 months, I'd be like, whoa. But I know it's only a set period of time, and it's just ticking off days, really. Like
Yeah.
So to me, it's not that much of a hassle. Like you kind of maybe get a little bit more, a bit planning and want to try to do stuff preemptively.
And a lot of that's gone out the window in the last few days.
Yeah, and a lot of it's gone out the window in the last few days, but it's like I just kind of go, okay, it's a set period of time. I know broadly what needs to be done to get through the days, and then it's a set period of time. I don't know, just kind of steeling yourself up for that, and then we'll be back to just normal lockdown, I guess.
Maybe hopefully we'll be out by the 6-week period.
Just never know.
After my 6 weeks. I guess we had probably thought that like grandparents could come over and like on the weekends. Obviously we thought there'd be kinder, which is 9 till 3 or potentially, you know, maybe with a couple of half days, but, and yeah, grandparents helping out and stuff. Whereas now, you know, that won't be available to us with the lockdown, which is totally fine. But yeah, if you'd had the other business, whoa.
Yeah, it would have made things a lot harder. But we're in a lucky position in that, you know, I can combine the business that I've got at the moment with looking after, you know, the little fella, the home kindering, you when you get back from surgery and all those bits and bobs. Not that much of, I think it's that much of a hassle. It's just what you do as a parent sometimes. Sometimes you just have to, you know, I'll just have to stop doing some of the things that I do. Not that there's that many things I can do during lockdown, but I'll just, some of the things that I enjoy doing and some of that downtime will just get sucked up, and that's part of being a parent.
Yeah. You'll still get to exercise and stuff.
I generally exercise before you guys get up, so it should be.
Although you did say that you wouldn't be able to go for a run in case.
Well, yeah, it was more difficult to go for a run in that period where you're just recovering because you won't be able to get out of bed if the little fella, for whatever reason, kind of arcs up. Not that he does, but
yeah, if he has to go to the toilet or something.
Yeah, it's not like you can just jump out of bed and help him. So I think that's small things.
Yeah, that should only be the first couple of weeks or something, maybe, and then I should be a bit more mobile.
Yeah, I think we'll wrap up on Daddy Eats Last tonight on that. I think we'll all be fine, won't we?
We will get through it. We will survive.
Fist bump. Boom. Subscribe to Daddy Eats Last if you haven't done already. While there, please leave a review. Also, tell your mates about the podcast, especially if they are guys. We'll be back next week. That'll be the last one before the surgery. So I don't know what will happen to Daddy Eats Last during the hiatus. I'm sure I'll still do it on a Sunday night with Ryan and Matthew because, you know, they'll just be out and about having fun. Catch you next week.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.